Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instruction on completing the task at hand. Visit my YouTube channel and watch my disclaimer video. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you find the information you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. If you're driving down the freeway and you can hear all this screeching and creaking and cracking, your dash mounts are bad in your S70. Here are the tools I use to pull this dash out. I got a little flat tip screwdriver. It's wedged, so a bone tool will be better. A little Phillips for an odd screw I had. A T25 and a T30 reversible Volvo screwdriver. Your 3/8 inch short extension, 18 millimeter deep well. The 3/8 ratchet. And the breaker cheater that I use to break the steering wheel loose. I got the small hex head, T25, T30 bits, an 8 millimeter ratchet, 1/4 inch short extension, the adapter for the torque bits, the 10 millimeter, the swivel, the 1/4 inch ratchet, 1/4 inch screwdriver, and my crescent wrench that I use as a cheater to get those screws out of the back of the airbag. So if you got any questions on tools, let me know, but those are the few tools I used. 70 owner and some 850s, you've probably fallen victim of the dash rattling, squeaking, cracking, just making all kind of awful noise while you're trying to drive. So this video, I'm going to take and repair that, and the only way to really repair it is to remove the whole dash assembly from the car. So first thing you want to do is prep the car for the work. Take your power seats, move both of your seats back, telescope your steering wheel down and pull it all the way to you. You'll have to disconnect the negative battery cable so that you don't set off your SRS light. This car, for some reason, the SRS light's already set off, and you'll have to disconnect the passenger side airbag. You'll also need your radio code, so have that handy, and I'll just go through it step by step. You'll have to remove the steering wheel, the airbag on the driver's side. There's a lot of stuff to do. It takes a little bit of time, but from what I've heard, it can be done in about 2.5 hours if you're really efficient. If you're slow like me, it'll probably take you 4 hours to do. So I'm going to go through here, show you everything I use as normal. I hope you have good success in doing it. You may have to leave this car all night, so I recommend that you leave the windows up when you're doing the job, especially if the car is going to be outside. There's a slight chance that you might leave the key in the ignition as well when you pull the steering wheel and stuff like that. So be prepared to lock the car up with the windows up so you can secure it if you have to leave it overnight. While you're doing this dash repair job, if you know that you have evaporator leaking, or you know the evaporator hadn't been changed, this would be a good time to add that to the task to do, but I'm not going to cover that there. So you will have easy access to the evaporator once you pull this dash out. Before you pull the dash and the cluster out, you want to test and make sure that all the lights work in your cluster, because while you have it out, you can replace any light bulbs. Alrighty, and you want to test your lights in your radio, in your climate control as well. And so if you pull it out, you can replace the bulbs while it's out. With the center console out, this is a good time to fix this if this is loose, and clean this up if you like to take it out to clean it up. On the bottom side of the rear of it, it has a couple of, looks like clips. It's clipped in, so you unclip both sides, hinge it up, you pull the light bulb out. If the light bulb is burned out, you can replace it now. You unplug the performance selector, and then you lift it up and it'll unplug that way. Okay, unlatch the steering wheel, pulled it down, and pull it all the way out toward me. I'm going to go ahead and lock that back. I went on ahead and moved the seat back. The power seat, passenger side, is not powered, so it don't need to be moved back. Now I'm going to go ahead under the hood and disconnect the battery. Take a 10 millimeter and undo the negative battery cable and store it to the side. Next thing I'm going to do, since I'm out here and under the hood, I'm going to go ahead and take off the window base cowling, which is this here. So I'm going to pull those two bolts out of the windshield wiper, take both of those off. I think they're 13 millimeter. They have a little dust cap on them, so I'm going to pull the dust caps off with a little flat tip screwdriver here. Pop those off and pull those bolts out. Okay, with the bolts off, you just work the handles up, the wiper arms up, and they slide right off of the bolts. The wiper arms came off a lot easier when I lifted them off the glass. That took the tension off of the hinge sections. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pull this seal up across the motor compartment. And then there's 5 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take those 5 screws out. Then I'm going to take these drain tubes off on both sides. They normally have a little squeeze clamp on them. Then I'll pull this cowling up off of the base of the windshield. Let me go ahead and finish that. I believe they're T25s. Alright, now that I got those 5 screws out, I can lift it up on here and it tucks under the trim on the window. So just work it out from under the window as you lift it up all the way across. So that side is hanging up on the fuse box. So you could take the fuse box off if you want. It's up to you. Now that you have the base of the window trim off, you can see the 5 bolts. I think they're 10 millimeter that go through the firewall and mount the dash against the firewall. Actually, this car only has 4 of them. You got 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is actually under this wiper arm rod thing. So you may have to use a box end wrench to get at that 4th one. I'm not going to pull those bolts now. I'm going to go ahead and take out the stuff on the inside of the car. You can also see your cabin filter over there and replace that if needed. The next thing that I'm going to do is take the dash pad off, the top of the pad. So if you have a bone tool or a flat tip screwdriver that won't mark up your dash, this is a good time to use it. Go ahead and stick it in here and pry out all 4 of your vents so we can go ahead and take the top of the dash pad off. Pry up on the speaker grills there, and then I'll show you where the screws are that you need to pull out. All 4 of these vents just pop out. You need to put a screwdriver under them and get them started out, and then grab hold to them, pull the rest of the way out. So go ahead and remove all 4 vent assemblies. These speaker grills, you pry them up and they just slide right out. Go ahead and do the other side. Next thing you need to do is pull these side pieces out. They pop out with your finger, or you could use the bone tool to slide them out. Go ahead and get the other one out the other side. These side dash pieces are real brittle. that one broke the tab off when I pulled it out. So I'll need to get another one of these, either from a salvage yard or from the dealer. Next thing you want to do is take the glove box out. You open the door, take out all the T25s along the bottom and a couple in the corner, and pull the whole glove box assembly out. I normally grab it with 2 hands once I get all, looks like 6 of those screws removed. Takes a little work working off the glove box off the latch up there, but the whole thing does come out. Okay, now that you got your glove box out, go ahead and pull the screw from over on this side. You got a screw up here, you got a screw down here, you got a screw over here, then you got a screw here, a screw there, you got 2 screws over there, you got a screw there, a screw up there where the speaker is, then you got a screw on that side. Go ahead and pull those screws, and then we'll pull the screws for the airbag that's under there. I'll show you those 3. I'm not 100% sure if I got to do it or not, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these speakers and unplug them. I'd rather do it while I'm in the mood of pulling things and find out later. So what I normally do is take a T15 and push the lock tabs in just a little bit, and then the speakers will lift up out of there, and then unplug it from the plug. So do that on both sides. Set the speakers aside. I punched those tabs through with a T15. Now you can prep them for going back in by pulling them out and then reloading them like this so that they're ready to reinstall for the install when you go to put them back in. Next thing I'm going to do is go in here and take the airbag loose. First thing you want to see is the plug for the airbag. So you want to make sure that your battery's disconnected. Then there's 3 bolts under here that should be 10 millimeter. Here's one here. Try to get my focus on it. Okay, you got one there. You got one there. Then there's another one down that way more. And it should have a ground wire on it. So you want to take away those 3 bolts, unplug your airbag, then your dash pad will be ready to come out. Be careful when you unplug this airbag plug. I've seen people just pull on the wires and the wires came out of the socket. So you definitely want to hold on to the plastic housing of it and unclip it up top, and then unplug it properly, because you don't want to damage the plug. Next thing you want to do is lift the dash pad up and out of the area. You see that side come off and this side is totally out. Be careful not to break it, because the plastic under it is brittle. So grab it with 2 hands and set it aside in the trunk or something. This is how that plug socket should. Next thing you want to do is pull these 2 screws to take the lower panel under the dash off, and then take the one loose from the other side and set those aside. Before you pull these lower kick panels all the way off, make sure you unplug the lights from them. Next thing I'm going to do is remove the center cluster. It has these hook latches on them. Then you unplug these 3 plugs and lift it up a little bit. Then unplug the plug on the back of this. I can actually reach that, unplug it now. So, and then just lift this center cluster out and move it out of the way. Next, I'm going to pull the radio, get it out of the way. So you want to pop these 2 tabs, one on each side, pull the radio out, and unplug the plugs from the radio. Pretty easy to understand. And if you have a wooden gear shift knob, you want to put a rag over your gear shift knob so you don't damage it. Next, you want to go ahead and remove that. If you got the ECC like this one, it just pushes out from the back. If you have the MCC, you pull the knobs off and remove the screws from behind the knob. So I'm going to push this out from the back, but I highly advise you to get some gloves, because when this thing breaks loose, it may jerk forward and cause you to cut your hands on the inside of the dash. That is definitely a problem with the 850, not so much with the S and V70s. Once you have that out, go ahead and undo the plug on the back of it. Next thing I'm going to do is take the center console out. First I'm going to lift up the coin box, remove that. Then I'm going to pop this up, pull it out of the way. Now there's two screws down here, one in that corner and one in that corner. I'm going to remove with the T25. Next thing you want to do is take this part loose, so you slide it toward the seat, and then you get it up to where you unsnap it from up top here. So now you got that out of the way. Next thing you want to do is open up the armrest. Pop this panel up here with the screwdriver. And after you get this panel popped up, you want to take the two screws out there. They look like 7 or 8 millimeters. Now that the screws are out of center console, under the handbrake there's two electrical connector plugs. Unplug those, then you should be able to lift up and remove the center console. Next, I'm going to take the collar off of the steering wheel. So I got a couple of screws in there, one in there, and then I unclip the top of it from there after I pull that bottom off. So let me go ahead and remove that collar. Now that the collar off, I'm going to go ahead and take the airbag off. Now you always want to do the right screw first when putting on and taking off the airbag. If you take off the left screw first or put the left screw first on, it may stop the horn from working. So on the back of the steering wheel, you got two screw holes. It's a little hard to reach in there and get those screws out, but this is the right one. I'm going to take that out, then I'm going to take the left one out. When I put them in, I'm going to put the right one in first and take the left one out first. It's easier to get those two screws out for the airbag when the steering wheel is turned, 90 degrees. So I got the steering wheel turned. I'm going to go ahead and pull those screws out. They should be T30s. Those screws are pretty hard to break free on the airbag, so I normally use a crescent wrench on my screwdriver as a cheater. So I'm going to go ahead and break those screws loose, removing the right one first. Alright, once you get the airbag pulled out, go ahead and unplug it. Set it aside. Next thing you want to do is take an 18 millimeter socket, break this bolt loose, and stop. Don't take it out, just break it loose. Okay, I used a little bit of a cheater to break it loose with the ratchet and socket. Now that it's broke loose, I'm going to pull the screw out of there, and I'm going to line that up with the hole through there and put that screw in there so that when I pull the steering wheel, that assembly in there doesn't unwind and get out of alignment. Alright, so that was like, I think, a number 2 Allen, and I went on ahead and put that screw in. Now I'm going to remove the bolt and pull the steering wheel off, being careful of these wires here. Now that I have the bolt pulled, you may want to take some whiteout or something and mark the bolt all the way across, so when you pull the steering wheel off, you'll put it back on straight. It looked like somebody has already pulled this steering wheel because there's a scratch on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the way that scratch lines up. Next thing you want to do is pull the turn signal stock and the wiper stock Looks like they have T25s up top and in the bottom, and then unplug the electrical plug on them. So take both of those off. Before you pull the dash off, go ahead and remove this thing here. It controls the horn and the airbag. You got a screw up top, 2 screws in the front. Make sure that stays in place, and it's got the plug here, and once you start to slide it off, there's a plug in the back that you see this purple wire going to. If you don't pull this off and you bump it too hard while you're pulling the dash over it, it's a good chance that you're going to shatter the mounts and it'll be broke. You'll have to get another one. Next thing I'm going to do is pull this tab and unplug this big yellow breaker from the car. That should disconnect all the electrical stuff. Next thing I'm going to do is take out these 2 screws here. I'm going to pull the trim down from here, take out that screw there, and do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to go outside and pull those 4 bolts from the firewall. I actually pulled that bolt out of the wiper assembly to get that bolt out and to maneuver that bolt out. On this side, I actually lifted it up and put the swivel on a 10mm socket. So I'm going to go inside and see if this thing is loose and hopefully pull the dash out. I was able to pull the dash out after pulling out those parts. It's better if you use 2 people because it kind of gets hung up a little bit while you're trying to take it out. And here's the dash. I laid it on the lawn here. This tab is totally deteriorated, busted out. This one is somewhat in place, but it's broken as well. This one is totally broken out, and this one is totally broken out. And a lot of the other of the dash piece is cracked as well. Here are the inside mounting points. I'm sure those busted out ones was leaking a little vent air, but I still got a mounting point there. I got a whole mounting point there. That was the one that might have been good, and that's pieces of the other one that came off. So I'm gonna contemplate rebuilding this, or pulling 1 or 2 out of the junkyard, see if they're in any better shape. So there you have it, and you can go reverse to put it back in or follow my install video. If you feel that this information was beneficial, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can get notification of future videos that I post. Visit my channel. I have all types of do-it-yourself videos there. You can leave questions here, and I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. You can also visit my website at robertspinner.com. Thanks again for watching.